Hello and welcome back to my channel, Outspoken Wheels on Wheels. My name is Joan and I'm not apologizing again this week because I'm an extra day late getting my video up this week. I think I'm just going to say, so that I don't have to keep apologizing every week, that I don't have content because I'm not traveling, and that's where I am the most motivated to make content, and also there just is stuff to make content of. I'm at home a lot right now because of my broken legs. I don't go out much. It's hard to get dressed, and so I just stay home and I'm trying to work from home. So there really isn't much happening in my life to make content with. So I am today putting up a video. Well, first I'll say probably don't expect regular videos from here on out until the weather gets better and until the casts come off my legs. I'm seeing the doctor on Tuesday. He's gonna re-x-ray, and that will be about the, what is it, the 8-week mark since I broke my legs. And I'm hoping, I mean, the casts were only on for 5 weeks, so there was probably, I don't know if the healing would have really started until the casts were put on, because, you know, just, I only had splints, and I don't think that stabilizes the bones as much as the casts do. So anyways, I'm hoping on Tuesday when they x-ray that my legs are both healed. And if that's the case, I will be able to start moving around a lot more, and maybe I'll be able to get out and find some things that I can make some content about until it warms up enough to be able to go camping again. So this week's video is something different again. My mom, as I think I mentioned on one or two of my videos earlier last year, my mom passed away in January. And at that time we talked with my dad, and he's always wanted to go to Alaska, and mom, just because of, she had Parkinson's disease and it was really hard for her to travel. So just because of that, she would never really want to go anywhere. So once mom had passed away, we asked dad if he would like to go on an Alaskan cruise. And so he wanted to, and so we did. And so that's actually what this week's video is about. That, so it's kind of a touring thing, but I'm also going to try and talk a little bit about the access to, like, wheelchair access. I don't have as much. I wasn't really consciously thinking about that when I was on the boat, except for when things were going wrong. And when they were going wrong, I didn't have the camera rolling. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry for the long introduction. Here we go. Alaskan cruise from Vancouver to Alaska. As we pull away from the port here, I want to talk about what happened before I got on the cruise ship. We drove down to Vancouver from the Okanagan, and I had to take my car over to my friend's house so that I could leave it there for the week without having to pay for parking. And I was going to take a taxi back to the hotel. I spent a whole hour to an hour and a half waiting on the street for them to actually find a wheelchair taxi for me. And when they did, I still had to wait because he had to come. I was in Burnaby. He had to come all the way from Surrey to come get me. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to make it home. I started wheeling back to the hotel. It was about 2 kilometers away from my friend's place, and the hills got too steep and I had to stop and go back. So that was a bit of a bad start to the week, but that's just one thing to keep in mind if you're going on a cruise from Vancouver, to make sure that you've booked your taxi, especially if you need a wheelchair taxi. Make sure you book it ahead of time, because they don't always have them on shift. They didn't in the towns that I was in. This was one of the lounge areas that they had on the ship, and it had a sort of a panoramic frontward bow view. And this was the first night on the ship, and it was It was really beautiful. This is kind of a weird shot, but I was a little bit mesmerized by the water at the back of the boat. And here's some shots of my room. It was a wheelchair accessible room, so it was a little bit wider so that you could wheel behind at the bottom of the bed, and the balcony was huge. It not only, most balconies were the width of the rooms, but because my room was at the back of the boat, it actually extended beyond my room towards the back of the boat. And I really enjoyed this balcony, even though it wasn't that warm outside. One of the days we cruised into a park called Glacier Bay, and these are some of the shots from that. It was actually quite beautiful in there. One of the ports that we stopped at was Juneau. And we got off the boat here and looked around. That's our boat, the Volendam with Holland America. And you can see that red tram going up the hill. We took that. This is at the top. It was quite nice up there. This is coming back down, and our boat is the little one. That's it right there. And this is coming down the tram. Also, while we were in Juneau, we took a bus, city bus actually. It took like an hour to get there, to the Mendenhall Glacier. Although the bus didn't go all the way to the glacier, we had to wheel about, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 kilometers, but it was a really nice walk, and it was really pretty when we got there too. And these were some of the pictures that I took on the wheel back from the glacier. Juneau being so far north, I never would have thought of it as a rainforest, but it's actually considered a rainforest, and you can tell by all the mossy type plants in there that it really does get a lot of humidity or moisture during the year.